Woody navigates the Baja Rally, a video documenting me coming off the seat-time couch to compete in a navigation rally event on the Baja Peninsula. I was introduced to the Baja Rally through Scotty Bloom. He sent me an email and he wanted to come and talk about this new event that he was doing in 2013 on seat time. I immediately emailed him back after the fact and I was like, dude, that sounds amazing. I want to know more. Are you going to do another one and how can I be involved? And that was really what started the beginning of me trying to find a way to make it out and compete in the second Baja Rally. Preparing for the Baja Rally is insane. There are so many little things that you have to worry about, and I didn't have a clue that it was going to be so encompassed with what I had to prepare, because not only did I have to prepare the bike, all the rally equipment, I had to learn how to rally, I had to get myself into much better shape, and that's just the kind of the big all-encompassing things that you would worry about. I had been trying to do a boot camp and CrossFit and all this other kinds of stuff, so I zoned in on one that I knew I could afford throughout the rest of the year, and that was the Camp Gladiator here locally. So I talked with my trainer. I told him, hey, this is specifically what I'm trying to do. You know, if I don't follow y'all's guidelines or y'all's workout for the day, it's because I'm changing it up just a little bit to suit what I know I'm working towards. I only worked out in the afternoons. So 5 o'clock in the evening in Texas when it's 100 degrees outside, I was trying to simulate, you know, the deserts of Baja as much as I could.
There you go, Brian. Lori. There we go.
The Baja Rally was a 4-day rally raid event, very Dakar style type of rally event. There are no course markers. It's very interesting because the event itself is about the navigation more so than it is about going fast. You have to focus on your navigation skills much more than you would just focus on speed. You use very, very specific navigation equipment. With that equipment, you have a road book which has all of your directions on it, so it's going to tell you what's coming up, what to look forward to. I mean, not just do they have kind of which direction you're going, sometimes they even have a course heading, and they have less of a trail. I mean, so sometimes you're following a course heading and there's absolutely nothing out there, so it can get really crazy. So Dave Peckham at Rally Management Services offers rally schools, and even though the one that I went to was not a planned rally school, some of his team members that are doing the Dakar Rally were out practicing, Ian Blythe and Scott Bright. He invited me to come out there with them and gave me a couple road books, gave me some key pointers, and that was where I learned to rally, was with Dave Peckham and the RMS guys. I rode a 2005 450 EXC. This was my dad's old bike. It had actually sat for about 3 years in storage, but of course, because it sat so long, we had a lot to do to get the bike ready. With a bike sitting so long, you don't really know what all could be wrong when it was put up, what could be wrong just because it's sitting. But from sitting for so long, carburetor, biggest thing there was making sure that the carburetor was clean, nothing was gunked up in the jets. We went ahead and did a top end on the bike and found out that the cam chain was horribly loose and definitely needed to be replaced. All the bearings, of course, my dad had no clue when those had been done, so we just wanted to make sure that the bearings were good to go. New chain, new Dirt Tricks, Ironman sprockets. We put some flex bars, all the Rally Management Services, universal rally kits, because we didn't know if it was when we're going to be starting super early or if we'd be out super late. I got in touch with the guys at Cyclops Adventure Sports, and they hooked us up with one of their super powerful HID light systems. Traveling to Mexico was interesting. For me, it was pretty easy because I flew in, but because my dad and I, in typical Pierce style, were packing up until the last minute, he literally drove straight across the country and made it 2 hours behind where I flew in to San Diego. So it was pretty impressive, and you just can't thank your dad enough, and other family members or sponsors or people or crew that help you out in those situations. I was nervous the first morning. I wasn't nervous that I wasn't going to do a good job. I was nervous in the fact that it was all kind of coming to fruition. It's like, holy crap, we've spent literally this whole year planning for this, and it's, not that my dad had put any pressure on me at all. I hadn't really put any pressure on myself to do well at this event. I really just wanted to kind of get it underway and to get into the first stage and go, okay, I know what I'm doing, prove it, and you know, kind of see how it would go from there. When we left Ensenada that first morning, it was neat because they had a police parade for us. So they, you know, had a police car in front of us and behind us, and they pretty much paraded us down the main strip there in Ensenada and up to the tollway in the liaison on our way to the first stage. That was pretty neat and impressive. Overall, first day was really good. Made a few minor navigation mistakes, nothing too major, but I would have had a good time. I would have been 1 second behind Charles Jersa, but unfortunately when I got to a speed zone, I was going, okay, I need to check my speed. I realized, crap, I lost my GPS. And unfortunately, what they do is they have these waypoints that they check at the end of the day to make sure you're on course. And you don't know what they are, they're hidden waypoints. And without that GPS unit at the end of the day, they can't verify that I went through those hidden waypoints. And without being able to verify that, you are penalized for every waypoint you missed. In this case, it's an hour for each waypoint. They had 3 waypoints, so I was penalized 3 hours, and so I started at the back of the pack on the second day.
What's the word on day 2?
We're gonna start it.
You're gonna start?
We're gonna try not to lose our GPS.
Wait till I tell you the
yours. That isn't mine. Yeah, try not to lose Ian's GPS. The second day was pretty darn epic. We went through a lot of what they were saying was kind of very traditional score. Very wide open sections, and then we got into a piney wood section that was really neat. We were out there for almost 3 hours, 125 kilometers, so it was pretty intense. Really long liaison through San Felipe down to Gonzaga Bay. Well, unfortunately, we're kind of running late and being right on my minute, like in the sense of an enduro. I got to the check-in for the second stage right ready to go, so the bike didn't really have any time to cool off and for the oil and the engine to kind of resettle, if you will, back down at the bottom. Yes, it's an 05 KTM, so who knows what this, you know, can't take Mexico. And I got 6.3 kilometers in, and unfortunately the bike died and it had very, very little oil. So you could say the whole mystery oil disappearance thing maybe came into effect. It's obviously really hard to say, so that sucked. When stage 2 closed, the guys that were running it drove their awesome off-road vehicle to me, loaded up the vehicle, and we drove down to Coco's Corner where we had the second night's bivouac. That morning when everybody started out on day 3, my dad and I woke up, high-fived everybody, cheered, hooted and hollered as everybody took off. Then we got in the RV and drove a very, very sketchy road back to Highway 1 so that we could head north to El Rosario. And in El Rosario, we were headed to Mama Espinosa's. Interesting enough, while we were out there that second night at Coco's Corner, a lot of people were asking me, hey, well, what's up with this bike? And I was like, oh, the SP? Yeah, that's my dad's wheelchair. And they're like, what do you mean? That's his pit bike. He rides that around the pit. You know, that's his bum knees, doesn't want to walk as much. I was like, well, why don't you ride that? And I was like, no, I don't even want to spend the time to go into this thing to figure out what it would take to get this thing running. Whatever, we're not going to do that. But on the drive on that third day, I kind of was like, well, Dad, what do you think? Do you think we could even get the SP running to where I could just ride it on the 4th day just to ride it and say I did it? And he's like, I don't know. When we get to El Rosario, let's check it out. So right when we got to Mama Espinosa's, pull up the RV, pull out the bikes. I start pulling off rally equipment from the KTM. He starts kind of dismantling the SP just so we can really give it a good look through. From that point forward, Alex Martens, again from Conflict Motorsports and Suspension, came over, really helped us out a lot by helping my dad put a lot of the rally stuff in there and get it tight and get it to where we're not going to have any issues with it. I spent a lot of time getting the road books ready, going to the riders meeting for the 4th day, and of course building an air filter, because when we took the SP's air filter out to try to clean it, it fell apart in our hands. So I built a new one off of the dirty one from the KTM, and a lot of cutting, a lot of silicone, but hey, we made an air filter and made it work, and that's how we got the SP ready for day 4, which was going to be, come to find out, a very gnarly day at the Baja Rally. When I pulled up on the SP, it gave me a lot of looks. I'm pretty sure that bets were started to see how long I would go, but you could see so many smiles on so many people's faces. And I knew I was doing the right thing. Not just because of seeing them, but the way I felt. I was like, this is the adventure that you're supposed to have when you do these kinds of things. You can't bum yourself out because it didn't go the way that you wanted it to go. You have to find another way to have fun, and this was that for me. We left out on a very short stage, about 80 kilometers there. They called the El Rosario Loop. So we started at Mama Espinosa's and came back to Mama's Espinosa's, where we would then gas up. There was a sweet section we got to ride down the beach. A lot of cool culverts and sections where we were riding like on the edge of the cliff right there on the beach. So we were on the beach, on the cliffs on the beach, riding up and down these dry riverbeds. It was a very, very cool stage there that they had right around El Rosario.
Willpower, right?
All right. Yes, yes, yes.
I feel like I believe it.
Yeah. 250 cc.
Yeah, I mean,
We changed road books and headed to the penultimate stage for the Baja Rally. Most epic stage that I rode. This is the one that had every aspect of Baja from what my experiences anyway, because it was sand dunes, it was on the beach, it was crazy rocks on the beach. There were parts where we were navigating just off of cap heading.
when we were doing all those headings, you were getting really far away because I'm trying to ride and like, look at this fucker. I'm like, holy shit.
Man, that SP, there were a couple people that I passed, and when I saw them after that stage, they were like, holy crap, dude, you were hauling butt on that thing. I was like, dude, when that thing is going forward and I can feel it had its good momentum, I knew that there was no letting off the throttle. You just had to keep that bike going. Whenever it wanted to go, you went, and nothing slowed it down, and it was fun. The Baja Rally was such an amazing experience. I'd always heard guys talking about going and riding Baja. You need to go ride Baja. It's such an amazing experience. This is the closest competition style rally event that you can go to is on the Baja Peninsula, and it is the Baja Rally, and it is an event that you should look into. And they do have the dates out for 2015, so if this interests you at all, you should definitely go check it out. Fly Racing helped me out so much with the patrol jacket and some of the other gear that I got. Alex Martens at Conflict Motorsports and Suspension, awesome dude. The Kinda Parker tires that I had were hooked up, they did great. Dirt Tricks with the Ironman sprocket, no thoughts of ever bending that thing or it ever wearing out. Cyclops light worked awesome in the daytime, in the early mornings and into the late evenings. I love running my flex bars. I run them on my KTM 300, so I knew that I wanted to have those on the rally bike as well, and they hooked me up with kind of their more rally specific, their adventure bikes, where the pieces on the sides are 1 inch longer each. It takes out of the middle, so the bars themselves aren't that much wider. It's just that it gives you a little bit more room for all of the equipment. Rally Management Services for helping out and allowing us to come out to their specific training grounds for their team to let my dad and I really learn from them, hang out with them, and do all of their good times. I don't know if you noticed, but my bike looked pretty pimp. Of course, my good buddy Brian Voral at Voral Designs designed the look for that bike, and then of course the guys over at Spider Graphics printed those up for us. So couldn't thank both of those two people for helping the bike look extremely awesome and for all of us having a great time. I am the host of Seat Time. We are the online show for the off-road enthusiast. If you enjoy dirt bikes, you enjoy beer drinking and bench racing, or all of those together, any of those separately, you should check us out. We do go live every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and the website is seattime.co. Always enjoy a pint full of awesome, and we'll see you at the next event.